All right, now I'll go live.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Santa Boot First podcast. We're a little light in the studio tonight, as you could see, but that's all right. We'll be able to handle things here. We had a huge beatdown of the Giants last week, going into this week against the Niners, biggest game of the year, NFC Championship game, trip to the Super Bowl on the line. Sixers are red hot. Maybe the Flyers tank is back on. Who knows? Exciting show. It's an exciting week, exciting times to be a Philadelphia sports fan. Let's get it.
With the, I like this one. You don't like this one, Smitty.
Smitty hates this song.
He hates it.
Jim loves it.
I love it.
It's not bad.
It's not bad.
I think we should recreate that.
I like
actually,
it. I like that
I feel like
opener.
it
with our
sounds like
voices.
Jim. It sounds like Jim.
A little bit. Anyway, good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Santa Boot First podcast. As I said earlier in our intro, we were a little light tonight. Jim and my old man, they got things that they got to do. So let me go around the room real quick. Sitting in his dad's seat with I don't know, his feet aren't that big, so like medium-sized shoes to fill there. Brody Marcus, how you doing tonight, Brody? What up? What up? Sitting in his stardom seat, I guess you could say, the middle, camera front and ready, Mr. Ryan Smitty. How you doing?
Good, DJ. How are you, buddy?
I'm good. I'm struggling here.
That's all right. You're doing good. You're doing good.
This beautiful voice you hear is none other than DJ. How you guys doing out there? Behind the glass, as always, we have our producer of whatever we call ourselves, Nate Moss. How we doing, Nate?
Oh wow, whole government. Yeah.
You.
Yeah,
Oh,
there it is. There it is. All right, folks. So, in case you live on the, oh, that's right.
Oh, hold on. We have a special video to show. So.
Oh, okay. Let's get into
For
that
our
first.
sponsors.
Before
I had other obligations, but I couldn't let it go without giving some thoughts from last week and what we got to look. Smitty, come on, man. Can I talk? Can you keep it down? This guy, all the time. Never stops. Anyhow, last week in studio, we all picked the Birds to win over the Giants. Nobody was scared, but there were definitely some tight hiney holes in that room, and it showed. Me, myself, I said we'd be partying at the link in the third quarter. Party came a little earlier. Party started the coin flip. Giants never had a chance. Got even better when Goddard just made that dude eat his teeth on a wicked stiff arm. Sorry, Danny Dimes, Danny Nickels, Danny Pennies, whatever you want to call them. Maybe next year, those Giants stunk. On to the next. So who's the next? The Niners. The Niners beat that butt Cowboys team. I don't want to hear it anymore, Cowboys fans. You guys are has-beens, never was-beens. America's team no longer. Stop being pretenders. Your owner's going to keep you in the gutter. Good luck getting a quarterback. But let's not talk about the Cowboys. Let's talk about those Niners. What do we have to worry about with those Niners? Nothing. Yeah, they got a nice defense. But give me that young rookie coming to the East Coast. The kid hasn't played in an environment like this ever in his career. Yeah, he's been nice. We keep that running game in check. We keep that wrestling reject Kittle in check. We got nothing to worry about, folks. Maybe not as much of a party early like the Giants game, but I think the Eagles win this one easy. 31-20 Birds. A.J. Brown, 2 tutties, 2, to show you that he's happy. Don't worry about it. Hurts, can we say it's going to be a coming out game? I mean, the kid's already on the map, and if he's not in your mind, all you MVP voters, you're jokes. So, what do we got? Birds win 31-20, and we're going to the Super Bowl, folks. Again, Santa here. Santa's going to be double-fisted real soon. Birds, Bengals, Super Bowl, book it. We got some special going on. We're going to find some nice guests to come in, lead into the Super Bowl. Until then, enjoy the game. Go Birds.
Oh, running low on storage probably
Yeah.
on his iPad.
Really, I gotta be honest. If I critique that, like, we're in the NFC Championship. He's not really showing some emotion. I felt like he was like.
It was probably
I
like
felt like he was like in front of.
Yeah, it was a little
It
monotone.
was like a public speaking class. Like
he was
giving a speech.
Brody was probably upstairs studying for his vocab test. Heather was probably sleeping. He didn't want to wake anybody up.
I don't know. I'm a little disappointed if he's the captain of our ship coming off like that. He calls himself the pilot.
I
right
think
now.
I think
don't know
go
about that.
when it's go time, Jim he flips the switch.
All right, so Jim's dad's already on us. You guys were terrified by the great Giants last week. What are you scared of this week?
I'll tell you what I'm not scared of. Our sponsors. Let me get to our sponsors. Our sponsors, as always, we got the wonderful Pops McCann whiskey. He's got like almost everything now. What, bourbon, whiskey, all that good stuff. And then we did not have Mamma Mia's tonight, unfortunately. We are apparently on a Super Bowl diet, but Mamma Mia's always hits the spot, so definitely check them out as well. So, I mean, you want to get to this comment from Mr. Marcus here. I wasn't scared of the Giants. I don't think any of us really were scared.
I said I was a little saying.
I thought it would be a tougher game than it was.
I did too. I mean, division opponent, third time, played them close.
I didn't expect them to beat them like that.
I don't think I did either.
No. I mean, it was over in the end of the first quarter. Was it 28-0?
It was over by
right.
the coin toss.
Yeah, exactly.
It was over.
Brandon Graham.
That was great. The audio of him. He's the man for that. But yeah, I mean, nobody expected that kind of game to go that way. I mean, the Giants just rolled over. I mean, when you really think about it, they showed no fight in that game.
They got steamrolled. They didn't roll over. They just got rolled. They got steamrolled.
Yeah. I mean, they had no chance. They couldn't do anything on offense, and they couldn't stop a nosebleed on defense. I mean, the Eagles could have easily put up 50 points. I think they took the foot off the gas a little bit, knowing that the game was out of reach for them, and they kind of just, did a vanilla offense, and they just ran the ball down their throats. Right. That's all they had to do, and that's what I talked about last week. Go back to your bread and butter.
Yeah, you did.
It worked pretty well for you.
I think it definitely did. The other part, too, that I think the thing that we see is, like, when Lane Johnson's in the game, that line's totally different.
Oh,
that line is completely different. I don't care if Lane Johnson's at whatever they say, not let's just say 75, 80%. Lane Johnson, 75 or 80% is still one of the best tackles in football.
I think he's the best offensive lineman in football.
That offense was completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a statement game to anybody that was like, oh, are the Eagles going to do anything in the playoffs? Look at what they did. I mean, there was people like Deke that was saying, oh, 22-16 against the Giants. Like, this team better get it together. And I think it proves what I said is that they were going through the motions week 17.
Yeah.
This is not the same team.
No. Got anything, Brody? Or
come on, Brody.
You're our third professional here.
You got to step in tonight.
This is the professional show.
This is basically like a big injury. You're stepping in. You're on the offensive line now.
I mean, I think the defense also showed how well it was, and also showed how crappy the Vikings defense is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I think on both sides of the ball, it just looked like the Eagles from really weeks 1 to 8. It just looked like good football.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, they just came into that game so well prepared that they shut down Saquon Barkley right away, and then they shut down any type of throws that Daniel Jones could have made. I mean, Daniel Jones looked like a rookie Daniel Jones again in that game. He did not look like that Vikings game Daniel Jones, or this season at all Daniel Jones. I mean, the Eagles turned him into, like Jim said, Danny Nichols or Danny Pennies, whatever you want to call him, Danny No Sense. But, they just looked horrible that whole game, the Giants. And, it's funny. I was down there tailgating with some buddies, and, there was tons of Giants fans down there. Brody, you were down there too with your dad and my dad. There were a lot of Giants fans down there walking around with a little bit of cockiness to them. They really thought that the Giants had a chance in that game, which we all gave them crap, obviously. Come on. Yeah. But I was talking to one Giants fan who was with us, and he really thought that team had a legitimate shot to win that game. Yeah, right, exactly. I mean, I get it. You're confident in your team, and, you want to believe in them. I would probably be the same way. I'm not going to act like I wouldn't be. But you look at those two teams, I think we were all saying it. The Eagles just are so much better than that Giants team. To think that they were going to come in there and just take care of business the way the Eagles did against them, I think that was a little asinine of them.
No, I agree with you. I mean, after the Eagles scored on the drive and went up 7-0, and Jim's dad pointed this out in the chat, but the turning point of the game was when, New York was moving the ball a little bit. They got to about the 50-yard line, right? It was like 3rd and 2. I think Hassan Reddick got a sack, and then it became 4th and 8. And he decided to go for it on 4th and 8 at the 50-yard line. That to me was like, all right, like this Giants team's desperate. And if they don't get it here and we score again, it's pretty much over, right? So then we stop them, right? Because obviously the play calling, we were getting pressure on Danny Petty's all night. We were getting pressure on him all night. So like that right there, we go up 14-0, and then Bradbury, thank you again, New York, for cutting him. Reads a play, intercepts it, and then from there on, dude, it's like a party on Broad Street.
Yeah,
I mean, literally, there was no point in that game after they went up 14-0 where I was even concerned. Barkley couldn't do anything. Saquon Barkley couldn't do anything. He had one nice run, I think, in the third quarter, which propelled them to get points. But their wide receivers did nothing. All I heard is about Hodgkins. That guy did nothing.
Yeah,
he was horrible.
No,
the Eagles completely shut them down, and it just goes to show you how deep they are. How deep they are in pass rushing. They got Sue and they got Linval Joseph, they got Jordan Davis, they got Hargraves, they got Cox. That's your defensive tackles. Nobody in this league has the depth at defensive line that the Eagles do.
No. And I mean, the numbers don't lie, right? Either. I mean, how many was it? Cox had 8 or 9 sacks this year. Brandon Graham had 11 or 12, 11 and a half. Reddick having 16 and a half. Josh Sweat had 11.
11, yeah.
I mean, you just go down the
Hargraves
line.
had
Hargraves had 11 and a half.
Yeah.
It was the first time I think that
First
anybody.
time in NFL history, right?
That
Interior.
4 guys had over 10 sacks on the team.
Yeah, but I mean, you look at the interior of this line too. It might be the best in football. Probably is the best in
It's
football.
definitely the deepest.
Yeah.
100% it's the deepest.
For sure.
And the secondary is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
The secondary, like Bradbury and Slay. I
You had
mean,
2 All-Pros.
Yeah, literally.
exactly.
I know we were giving Slay a bunch of shit the past couple weeks, but Slay, when it mattered, he can play. I mean, what can you say about C.J. Gardner-Johnson? I mean, he's all over the field. He makes plays. I mean, even safety, Marcus Epps, man. Like I know we called him.
Yeah, I wasn't.
Okay.
I wasn't a big fan of Epps
Neither
being
was
the
I,
starter
but
this
he's done
year.
a solid job.
But he's done more than enough.
TJ Edwards has definitely done more than a solid job at linebacker. Like
The whole team.
Yeah, really. There's really no
It's the whole
weakness.
team. This whole team.
There's no weakness, and you get Avonte Maddox back this week.
Hopefully.
I mean,
Hopefully,
more than likely,
yeah.
it looks like it. I mean,
Who's their slot receiver?
For the Niners,
Is it Debo or is he just everywhere?
they just
Probably
put Debo.
Juwan Jennings.
Yeah, they put Debo everywhere, and then Ayuk is mostly on the outside. But I would say Jennings is probably their slot guy, and they also put Kittle out wide a lot or in the slot.
Yeah, but I don't think they would put Maddox on Kittle. That's a bad matchup.
No, yeah,
I think it would be. Don't you think it'd be Gardner Johnson?
It would be.
Or linebacker?
Yeah, I'm just wondering with Maddox coming back, do you throw Gardner back at safety position then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Because-
do you move him back, and then who's your
I
other?
might have him like as a hybrid.
Who's your other safety? Are you going Blankenship or are you going Epps?
Oh, I'm definitely
Yeah.
going Epps, 100%.
Mhm.
I actually like.
I like Blankenship though. He's played well.
Blankenship's been good, but you know who else has played well that like nobody talks about? Kayvon Wallace has been looking really good too when he gets opportunities.
Yeah.
But no, I think you have.
Who'd you say?
Kayvon Wallace.
Oh, Wallace.
But yeah, when
Wallace,
he's
yeah.
played, he's actually shown that he can play.
He's become a better tackler.
For
Before he
sure.
was known
I
for
agree
being
with you.
a hitter in Clemson, right?
Yeah.
And then he got here, just really nothing. It never clicked.
His coverage skills weren't the best.
Yeah, and his
either.
coverage skills was good, but
he got beat a lot.
but like so far this year, winning does that to people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Contagious.
Like when
Yeah,
you're
I agree
around a
with you.
bunch of winners and everybody wins, you don't want to be the guy in the back who sucks.
Right.
You don't want to be the guy who sticks out.
Right.
So he's definitely come up. I said it last game. He's put some sticks on people.
Mm-hmm.
He's put some hits on people. So yeah, like you said, they're the deepest team left, and it's not even close. Especially on the defensive side of the ball.
Well, they said since what was it, week 11? I think it was when they signed Sue, or week 9, whatever. The last 8 weeks or something, they've had like 48 or 49 sacks.
That's
and that's
crazy.
and they're averaging like 6 or 7 since they picked up Sue and Joseph.
I think it's 5.
Yeah, is it?
Yeah,
is it
5
really?
and a half or
Five and a
something like
half,
that,
But
yeah.
like, there's been games right where they've had 6 or 7. Like,
Yeah, but think
it's
about that
just
as a
ridiculous.
stat. Like
Right,
what?
It's ridiculous.
Teams struggle to get 1 sack.
Right.
Eagles have 5
Right.
and a half sacks. That's
Right.
incredible.
Right.
It's gonna be a good matchup because Williams is considered the best
Yeah,
offensive line.
that'll be fun to watch. I mean, he shut down Fraudson, so I think Reddick's been having a better season than him, but we'll get into that a little later too.
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
Didn't normally sweat on Williams' side.
I think
I
go
think
to
I think he's a
switch
left
around.
tackle.
yeah, he is, but the thing
They're gonna move.
with Reddick,
Yeah.
you can move him anywhere, and they do. I think they usually do. So he'll be matched up on McGlinchey and Williams and anybody. And I think his toughest matchup will be Williams. But hey, man, Reddick's been dominating all year, so stick whoever you want in front of him, and good luck.
Yeah, I agree with you.
But if there is anything, is there anything negative from that Giants game to take away?
No, honestly,
I mean, I can't.
they showed no
nitpick,
faults at all.
Right.
Sanders had an okay game.
but you didn't need them.
But you didn't need him now.
You
Still
didn't
got
need
But
it.
then Gainwell
Yeah,
had
Gainwell had a
100
great
yards.
game.
Boston Scott Giants
Yeah,
still had a game.
another touchdown.
The only thing I guess I would take away, and not even a bad thing, because it's not really a bad thing, because you got Goddard and you got Smith and you got Brown, but like, there's really been no third receiver that's stepped up.
Quez is really falling
Quez,
off.
Yeah,
or,
he is not
what's his
good
name?
this
Pascal had more snaps.
Yeah.
This weekend, but I
Oh
kinda
yeah,
like
that's what I
Pascal
noticed.
for
Well,
blocking
that's because
purposes.
of running. They were run
Yeah,
blocking for
but
with them.
that would be my only thing is like the Niners do have like Lenore and they have I forget the other guy that's in their secondary.
Jimmy Ward.
Jimmy Ward. So like, who's the third wide receiver other than Goddard? Goddard's a tight end,
But
obviously. Like,
it's-
but that's
It's
like a problem.
it's-
Every team has.
It's funny you bring that up because if you look at this defense, the Niners secondary is not good.
No, I know.
That's what I
But I'm
thought,
saying like if you need another guy to make a play.
Yeah,
I mean,
I hear you,
That's,
but
I get what
that
you
would
mean,
be
but
the
you
only thing
shouldn't
that I'd
need
say.
to.
You're right. Because
Yeah.
I mean, when do you really need to depend on a third wide receiver? I'm
And
just saying.
and if you can run the ball again the way I don't think they will be, but if you can the way you did against the Giants, keep doing it. Like I would not
They might
start
be
trying to
able
force throwing the
with our
ball.
line. I don't know if the San Francisco can stop our run game.
The only,
I
I mean,
don't
their
know.
linebackers play well, but I saw this week. I think the Niners secondary gets a lot of love, but numbers wise, they're not that good. I think they're like towards the bottom of the league in passing.
I mean, the RPO, we'll see. Like, is Hurts gonna run more? I mean, he ran a little bit against New York. He didn't need to run a lot.
No,
But I think like that's also something that teams have to
everyone
prepare for
was-
every week.
everyone had microscopes on the shoulder and the throwing. He looked fine.
Yeah,
That
He
He
was
checked down
taking
to me.
hits and everything.
He didn't even
Right,
need to
and
do
No,
that.
but I'm
Exactly.
saying that
Yeah.
the first throw of the game to Devontae
Yeah.
Smith downfield.
It was
like,
right on
all
the
his
money,
shoulders, all right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And he's still kind of playing. I don't know if he's playing it up or just being honest, but he's still saying he's not 100% and it's still sore. But when he plays, it doesn't look like it at all. I mean, his throws, they still have the same zip and same accuracy as his regular throws. I mean, I don't know how serious this injury is, but
That's what I've been saying. I don't think the injury is bad.
in his press
He might
conference,
surgery.
his press
Really?
conferences, he keeps talking
Yeah.
about it. Well, he's getting asked about it, but he's also
You don't-
saying like
you
he's
don't
not
think-
100%.
You don't think he's just talking that up? I mean, and I could be wrong. You don't think he's talking it like they're playing a game of poker? I'm not saying, and Nate, you could be right. He might need shoulder surgery because remember after the Tampa Bay last year he needed ankle surgery, so it's possible. But don't you also think, Nate, from playing football, like the gamesmanship, the coaches, they're making San Francisco think that like Hurts might be more.
Oh
hurt than
yeah,
he
I
is.
mean,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah, the gamemanship has always been going on. I mean, from Sirianni, from Hurts gives them, like I think they were saying this on the radio. Hurts gives them nothing. Like he gives them nothing.
Oh yeah, in the
From
press
his press
conference. Oh, yeah, he
conferences.
does say
Yeah.
that.
He doesn't say anything. He talks about the
gets
team.
That, he gets that from the school of Howie Roseman.
Yeah, like he doesn't give them anything. So I think there's definitely some gameship. In terms of how they play with the media, and they all know what everybody else is saying. This ain't like oh, did you hear this or whisper down the lane type thing. So,
Right.
yeah, I think they're playing it smart. I think he's good because remember he had that one run and he spent off. He never took a shot to the shoulder.
Mhm.
So, I mean, as long as nobody falls on his shoulder, I think he'll be fine. Like, I think he can take a hit to the shoulder, but I like remember when he got hurt, it was a defensive lineman falling on top of him
Yeah.
in 25-degree weather at Soldier Field. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
so I
Kind
think
of
he'll
a
be
freak
yeah.
thing.
It happens, but most people like they break the collarbone when
That's
you see
true,
shit like
too.
that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
So
this far into the season, who's not 100% healthy? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everyone's playing
everyone's
banged up.
yeah.
You know, so it's all about pain management right now and just gutting it out. Honestly,
I think we're the healthiest team. To be real with you, I
Mhm.
really do. I think we're the healthiest team
yeah.
Sure.
in the
Yeah,
who's
because-
left.
Yeah, I
The
agree.
Niners, I think it was Debo, McCaffrey,
Yeah, they all had
and Mitchell
injuries.
maybe
Yeah.
didn't practice.
Yeah,
They just did their walkthrough and weren't
Yeah, they said
practicing.
they didn't
I think
practice
this-
at all this week.
I
No,
think
which
that
is
calf
weird.
injury for McCaffrey, that's something to watch. If you notice, they took him out of Dallas.
Elijah
Yeah.
Mitchell gets a lot of carries too
Yeah,
for them.
yeah,
Which,
so.
I mean, if he
Well, they'll
is,
put deep. I think they're gonna.
And there's Debo
They're gonna
right
have
there.
to.
They're gonna have to. Yeah,
They're
because
gonna have to.
if there is something that could maybe catch the Eagles defense is the trickery. You know, a trick play here and there could really throw them off.
Yeah, he's. I think. Well, we all know McCaffrey gets hurt. Like, this
Yeah.
isn't- this is nothing new. Like
if you play fantasy,
yeah, you know he gets hurt.
Yeah.
So they were trying to save him, I think, last week, but he was ineffective. Like, it was in spurts. Like, they, I can give you 2 plays now,
Mhm.
and then I got to stay out, or I can give you a play here and there. He'll be good in the beginning, but man, once he starts taking hits, game kind of tightens up a little bit. You know what I mean? He's and if he breaks a big run, if he tries to take off, it's over.
Mm-hmm.
It's over. And this is what I was talking about the game before, right? This is what I was talking about. Like, without him running the ball the way they run the ball, they're not that good.
Yeah.
I don't want to say they're vanilla because they still got players in other positions, but it's going to be a hard task for them to come in here.
Let's put it this way: if they didn't run the ball the way you just said, Nate, if they didn't run the ball like they did last week, they lose that game.
Yeah, they should have looked out.
And Dallas also sucked. I mean, they were just awful and
Well, Dak
stupid.
Prescott, I mean, if you think about it, both his turnovers were costly.
Terrible.
One was they were driving to score. The other one was they just got the ball, and then the Niners got back in the red zone.
But if the Niners play that game that they did last week here,
Oh, they're going to smoke.
it's going to be
Yeah,
another
it's gonna
38-7,
They're
or
gonna
you
get
know,
smoked.
I mean, it's not going to be close.
If the Niners play the way they do.
Because I'll be honest, like Purdy's a nice story and it's cool and all, but he does not impress me.
Oh, people are really overrated.
I don't get it. I mean,
I don't think he will play good at all year.
I hope not. I mean, he hasn't played in this type of
That's what I
atmosphere,
was gonna
and he
say.
hasn't
Yeah.
played this good of a team yet.
Yeah.
If you look at the Niners' schedule since they've had Purdy at starting quarterback, they've played maybe one good team. I mean, it was the Chargers, but they have not played a solid team yet.
No.
With Purdy at starting
And he
quarterback.
hasn't been tested in an environment. You could say
No, that's true
Seattle.
too. Yeah.
You know, I mean, you could say Seattle in regular season. There's nothing like, and Debo Samuel could say all he wants. San Francisco's crowd's louder than ours, which is horseshit. But anyway, like literally, I don't think Brock Purdy has any clue what. I mean, Brody, you were there. You both were there last Saturday. Do you really think Brock Purdy has any idea what he's coming into in Philadelphia?
Not at all.
No, I mean, it was funny. Me and Brody are talking about that on the way up. Like, I asked him, I was like, do you think it was loud there Saturday? Because we both did the game, and I thought it was pretty loud and rowdy. But if I was talking to people afterwards and they were watching on TV, they said the crowd noise wasn't really coming through.
It was pretty loud.
Was it? Okay.
I thought it was.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I thought it was pretty loud and rowdy, but yeah, Purdy hasn't played in an environment like this yet, and I think that affects you as a player. I think it really does. Look at the Phillies playoff run. Look how hard it was to win here. The same thing goes for the Eagles. The fan base definitely makes a difference. It helps them on defense. It helps them on offense, and it gives the team that extra juice and boost that they, maybe they're feeling a little sluggish, but the fans get on you and you're right back in it. It's definitely a big factor.
Yeah.
Any more on the?
I mean, what? All right, so Pat Bernard, thanks for joining us. Pat's on edge of Philly. Clog the run game on defense. Make Brock go one-dimensional. The 49ers wideout hasn't seen a secondary like the Birds. I agree 100% with you, Pat. I agree 100% with you.
Don't worry,
Our
Pat. I'm going to
secondary-
stop the clip and I'm going to make sure I got that for you.
I agree.
I don't think you've ever said that I 100% agree with Pat
I know,
Bernard.
but you know what? He's right. Honestly, there's two things to me that stand out. And I was the other night I was looking at the team that won the Super Bowl and this team now. This team now to me has more talent.
Yeah.
And I don't even think it's close. Our secondary, I get like we had Bobby Taylor, Troy Vincent days. I'm not trying to disrespect them, but the secondary we have right now is the best secondary. I'm talking corner wise, safeties. Okay, but our secondary is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And honestly, Smith and Brown to me are the best wide receivers we've had since I've been here. I don't care about Deshaun Jackson and Macklin. I'll take AJ Brown, Devontae Smith.
You had two 1,000-yard receivers this year. That's never happened before in the franchise. So I think I was having the same talk with my dad and uncle after the game. I think it's the best team that they've ever had on paper. And they were kind of like, I don't know, because they're old timers. But I think on paper, and you look at the numbers, I think this is the best Eagles team that they've ever had.
Yeah, the only area where, and you know how much I like Miles Sanders, that would be the only area where the run game.
I would say
the Super Bowl team has our run game.
Blunt, Ajayi, and Clement was.
Yeah, that was
probably.
What was the TO year? 04?
Yeah, that was
04
Westbrook,
and half of 05.
Yeah, Westbrook.
Yeah,
was
man.
the
I don't
running
know,
back
man.
then.
That year was.
Westbrook and
Yeah,
Buckholder.
they were stacked.
They
but-
were stacked.
But what I'm
that
saying
year.
is, so T.O. is obviously right now better than Brown and Smith, right? Obviously, we know that. But I'm saying, together as a wide receiver core, I think since
And
this
Goddard,
is the
too.
best, right? I mean,
Goddard's better than Chad Lewis.
is Goddard better than Ertz? I don't know if Goddard's better than Ertz.
I think he will
Super Bowl
be.
year, he might be. But, Nate, what I'm saying is wide receivers, your 1A and 1B wide receivers, I don't think we've had a better tandem since
No, I agree with that.
I mean?
I'm just wondering about that team versus this team. And the offensive line is kind of close too, because wasn't that Runyon and Trey?
Yeah, Trey Thomas, John Runyon.
Who was the center? Was it Hank Fairley at that time?
No,
Or was it Marbury?
Wasn't it Jamal Jackson or no?
Was it Jamal Jackson?
I thought he was on
This
that team.
offensive line right now, I mean, Brandon Brooks was a hell of a player, but Super Bowl year, I think this offensive line's better.
You think Dickerson is better than Brooks or?
I'm not saying that. No, I'm saying overall. I would take Lane and
I think it's the
Jordan
best team.
over Vaitai.
I think it's the best team. They've
Yeah,
ever
I think you
had.
guys might be right. I'm looking at the roster of that team.
I mean, if we go position by position.
Oh man, they had Trotter, Dawkins, Michael Lewis, Vito. Shit, that team was stacked.
I'm talking about the team that won the Super Bowl.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm just saying from just on paper, this team, I forgot they had Burgess, that's when Corey Simon and Walker.
When Burgess was there, it wasn't broken.
He wasn't. He wasn't the Burgess in
But,
I mean,
Oakland.
Reddick has had a better
defense-
season than any of their defense
his
linemen that
Super
year.
Bowl defensive ends were
yes.
pretty good. I mean, Chris Long was.
Oh wow, you been Sam Rayburn? He had 7 sacks.
Wasn't Javon Curse on that team
Yeah,
too?
Curse was on that team too. Yeah. Wow. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm sitting here remembering that team. That was a great team.
It's a shame because that team could have been around for a while. They just kind of fell apart.
Yeah. No,
And
they did.
they 4 straight NFC Championship games and they didn't get to one. They only got to one.
Well, this
Super
is the
Bowl.
Super Bowl.
Yeah, but I'm
Yeah,
saying that most of that team was together for those 4 NFC Championship games, and they only get to one Super Bowl. It's underwhelming.
Yeah, their defense. We got to give our defensive line, but this defensive line was stacked.
I'll give you the linebackers team over this team, even the linebackers of the Super Bowl team.
Yeah, because Dehane Jones was good.
Dude, I love Dehane Jones with the air guitar.
Yeah, Dehane Jones was good.
You had the Axeman, and then
is this the one where Trotter started out on special teams, and then
that year?
This year was
I think that was the year he got cut, but he signed that big money deal, and then he came back.
Well, he went to Washington. He went to Washington.
Yeah, and then he
right?
came back to the Eagles cheap, and then just rose up the board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see his, not to go too far off track, but you see his son.
Yeah.
They're saying like a first round pick next year. They're thinking
he's pretty good.
He's gonna be better than his dad.
To West Virginia.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah, I mean, I look at both teams. I look at the Super Bowl team that won, and I look at the team now. I mean, it's hard to say quarterback because Foles was so good. You know,
But
what I
it was
mean?
a 3-game stretch.
Yeah, it was a 3-game.
It was the
stretch.
greatest 3-game
Yeah,
stretch.
absolutely.
Same, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know.
It's close, but I think this team is better.
Yeah, I think it's more complete.
It is.
Yes,
Yeah, I agree.
Now,
yeah.
if you look like overall, the secondary to safety play was definitely better. It was super.
I mean,
team.
dude, think
Malcolm
it,
Jenkins
don't you
and
can't.
McLeod.
No, but think about that statement real quick. That secondary gave up over 500 passing yards
Yeah, but that was
in that Super Bowl.
I know, but that was
How
tough.
good was it?
I don't know. I thought the second, like Darby that year,
It was-
and
That's time, bro.
Yeah, but any other game, your defensive coordinator is usually fired the next day.
Because we didn't lose.
I know, and it was a Super Bowl. But you look at that numbers wise and from a strategy standpoint, that's a horrible game. They just happen to have Nick Foles playing out of his mind, and the offense going off, which helped them. But that's besides the point. That's in the past.
when we talk about kind of just not to switch topics, so it goes with this game and it goes with what we talk about. So we talk about snubs, right? Let's talk about Coach of the Year, Siri Hani,
Sure.
being involved. Let's talk
You can
about
get me
defensive-
fired up about this
defensive
one.
Player of the Year with Reddick, and I don't agree with you as much as I say Parsons is a horrible player, which you do, but
I don't think he's.
Reddick should have been there. I
Yes.
agree. And comeback player of the year, Geno Smith, I agree. Saquon Barkley played.
He played last year. So did McCaffrey.
And McCaffrey played. So, the fact that Brandon Graham tore his Achilles, had 11 and a half sacks.
It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. My question is, does any of that play into obviously they don't.
Bulletin board material?
This team doesn't need to get up for games. We say it. But
No.
does that put an extra chip on your shoulder when you see
Absolutely.
the fact that
For sure.
Dable's going to get Coach of the Year? And
Yes.
Sirianni's beat him 3 times. Reddick's probably sitting there being like, I just had 2 sacks in the playoffs from Michael Parsons.
So did Brandon
nothing.
Graham.
Right, Brandon Graham did. And what does this do for that team's motivation on Sunday?
It gets them more
the national
motivated.
media.
They're disrespecting him
They're not
again.
even really talking about Hurts as much anymore. I don't know if you saw that today.
Yeah.
That really got me. Bart stopped me. He was like, there's superstar and then there's good. And that's where I put Jalen Hurts. The only 3 that's superstar are Allen, Mahomes, and Burrow.
It's just ridiculous because year in and year out, when a Philadelphia team is this good or on a run,
Right.
the national media has this narrative where, no, they can't be that good. It's not a real thing. Like, it's okay to have a good sports team in Philadelphia
Right.
because they'll just keep proving you wrong. I mean, they did it all throughout the Super Bowl year. That team just kept rising up to the top, and they won it all, proving everybody wrong. And I think the same thing could happen this year. The fact that Hassan Reddick, who was second in the league or third in the league in sacks,
Second.
Right behind Bosa.
Right. Right.
is not in Defensive Player of the Year talks.
I think it
Yeah.
should have been. If it would have been me, I probably would.
Nick Bosa,
Bosa, Parsons, and
Hassan Reddick,
And I think as much as you don't like it,
mediocre for Austin.
I think I keep Parsons there.
Yeah,
That's fine.
I think you put in Reddick over Jones. I don't know how Jones.
What did Frauds?
Chris Jones? I don't know how he made
What
it.
did-
didn't do anything.
What did
good.
Fraudson do in the biggest game of his career? Oh, he had 1 tackle.
Yeah,
That's
he
right.
didn't do much. Parsons definitely didn't do much. But I
Yeah.
think that's more about
And friend, good teams actually shutting down.
yeah. I mean,
But he's such a
I
good
thought
player.
Parsons had a good game. He
He had
affected
one-
the
he
game.
had
you
one
see what he
tackle.
did? Did you see what he did to the offensive tackle?
Yeah, he affected the game though.
Dude, that McGlinchey thing, come on, stop. He caught him off guard. McGlinchey was
but I'm
shifting
saying,
his
they were
weight.
comparing. You didn't let me finish.
All right, go
The
ahead.
fact that they were comparing to the Reggie White's move was crazy. Reggie White's one of the best defense. I mean,
Reggie White might be the best player ever.
But I agree with you, Nate, and that's what I try to get DJ to understand. And he only thinks it's Penn State.
No,
bias,
he
but Parsons
definitely affected the
impacts
game.
games
You had to.
without sacks.
He impacted it so
Yeah.
much that they lost,
Yeah, he
and they
affected
looked
the
like
game.
shit.
Yeah, he affected. The
No,
game.
But
he
if you
didn't.
think about it overall, Dallas's defense really didn't look that bad.
No, they
Against San
played
Fran.
well. They
No,
did play well.
well. And they had missed
And
opportunities.
that's
How many
the only
how many
compliment I'm giving Dallas
how many
this show.
picks did Diggs drop?
And that's what. Yeah, you can go into that
He
throw to
should've
Kittle.
Yeah,
let
that I was gonna
Kittle.
say that Kittle.
How
should have
does
been
you how
intercepted.
as an
He light
NFL
him up.
as an NFL defensive back that should be
He
like
closed his
Chris-
eyes.
That should be like
Light 'em
Christmas
up.
morning.
Light 'em up.
Yeah, you go right at him. and
NFL
end
He
it.
blitz.
yo,
Light
I'm
him
telling
up.
you, he closed his eyes. He didn't see him.
Well,
He
then
closed his eyes.
Diggs is a. I'm sorry, your wife. He's a bitch. Dude. Like, how do you not go
I'm sure
right
she's
at?
heard worse from me.
I know. Yeah, that's
Oh,
true.
well, she's heard worse from me. Wow.
No, just kidding, Nate.
But as the NFL
She has.
defensive back, you have a clean shot on a top player on the offense, and you don't take that shot. Like that's just mind blowing.
And then
It'll
even
be-
on special teams, like Turbin should have took one back.
yes.
Oh,
And he
yeah,
got
he
taken
cut
down by
in.
the kicker.
Yeah, he
he
cut
cut
in.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking, man, like, why are you cutting in?
The only defense I'll give at Dallas is I think Dallas wins that game if Pollard doesn't get hurt.
no.
I do because I don't think Zeke.
No,
can carry
I
the
think
load.
it was because of Dak.
Because Dak still stunk, and McCarthy's still an idiot. For
Well, they
head
were
coach.
moving the ball a lot better with
with
Pollard.
Pollard. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Does he come back, you think?
That's what I brought up to my
They
dad.
said-
we were watching the
they said
game.
Training camp will be ready. I wonder.
No, but
But he's a free
You're a
agent.
free agent. Does that affect your money? Because you're not going to be
Of-
ready
of
for.
course.
You
Yeah,
might
but
not be
If
ready.
you kind of think about it, it hurts us. Then it moves
I know.
It moves Sanders up the free agent list.
Well, that
And
too,
Barkley's
but he
not
could
going
go.
back to
He
New
could
York,
also
I
go
don't
back
think.
to Dallas for cheap.
Yeah.
Now that he's
Well,
hurt.
Barkley
Right.
turned down what, $12 million a year, right?
But he said after the game, which is funny, like and I like Saquon Barkley, but he's full of shit. When he was like, I'm not trying to reset the running back market. I just, you want fair value. If you want a fair value, the Giants offered you a multi-year deal, $13 million a year. You've been hurt a couple of years. You would have took that money. So come on.
Was it 13 million or 12?
It was whatever.
Didn't
12 or
they-
13. But he
didn't-
won 16.
But he turned it down though, right?
Right.
Didn't they already come out? Didn't the GM for the Giants already come out and say we're going to commit to Daniel Jones and
they said
Saquon
no.
long term?
He said today that they're, they want to bring back Barkley.
So are they picking Daniel Jones over Saquon
Yeah,
essentially?
I
Absolutely.
actually think
That's what you should do.
I actually think Daniel Jones is probably going to get like a Kirk Cousins deal, like a
What?
3-year, $100 million
No,
deal. That's what Schefter said this morning. And
That's
would he?
crazy.
That's the price for a
Dude,
quarterback.
think about it. If Hurts
Daniel
is gonna
Jones?
if Hurts is going to get $45 million or $50 million.
Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones is
Oh my
getting
God.
3 years. Yeah, $30
Jones isn't
million.
even on the same level as Hurts.
Yeah.
Hold on, did somebody just walk in?
Yeah,
Yeah.
We didn't realize that we got people from the practice squad.
How
I
did
thought
they
you had
get
to
in?
go to a viewing or something.
All right, well,
And it's already
Did they
done?
bring pizza?
No.
Oh,
and
God
there's
damn
no
it.
practice squad. We already the rosters have been set tonight.
Yeah, sorry, fellas. You're gonna have to stand on the sidelines for this one.
So no, don't tell them don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. Everybody shift over one. Just move down one.
We got to get the mics up again. See what you're
Jesus Christ.
doing?
He was gonna pick up the chair and go across
We're
the
almost
camera.
done, man.
That
We only
would have
got
been
like 10
ugly.
more minutes.
Yeah, we're already on predictions
Yeah.
almost.
We're almost on prediction.
So we were
So
saying
now we're kind of thrown off.
No, so
Now,
Brody,
see-
Brody, put that in front of
we
you.
were in rhythm.
And
See,
then
we were
everybody
in
moved their
rhythm.
mics over.
see this is where we're a good
So
team
everybody
now.
move their mics
Yeah,
over.
this is where we're a good team.
Go to
Every time
left.
you get shots.
Go
You
one.
go to your left.
All right, 1, 2, 3, shift.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Look, look at this. Look at this.
All right, ready? All right, hold on. We're running a
Now my mic is falling off.
XYZ Spider Banana.
Hello.
XYZ.
On two.
Yeah, right. All right. Jesus H Christ.
So you
about
need
that?
headphones? I'm not switching.
Nah.
Andrew doesn't talk
You
anyway.
can leave it.
Andrew doesn't
Joining
talk
the show so abruptly, none other than the old man, the elder statesman, Donald Kennedy, my dad.
What's up, DJ?
Hello.
Thanks for joining us
If
today,
he-
buddy.
If he was,
What's
if he
up,
was
man?
crazy,
What's up?
if he was crazy and a killer, we all be dead.
Andrew, what's good,
True.
buddy?
I
You got
didn't
introduced
hear
I'm
Andrew.
trying to.
Yeah, he didn't get a
Then,
chance.
then we got to his left, Andrew Martin.
Was the door closed?
So, what's up?
I guess not, right? You got in.
No, it was.
So we were just we were talking about the bulletin board material. Like, so the fact that we talked about Sirianni, right? Had 8 wins last year, increases his win by 6. They have the best record in the NFC all year. They have the best record in the league all year. They win the division, and he's not coach of the year, right? And then we talk about Reddick, how he's got 16.5 sacks. He's not included in the defensive player of the year. And then you got Brandon Graham, comeback player of the year, towards Achilles,
Yeah.
11.5 sacks. Deke, I know this team doesn't need much to get up for this game, but does that put an extra chip on this team's shoulder going into this game? Knowing the fact that the coach of the year you beat 3 times.
They really haven't talked about it. I haven't heard anything on the radio.
No, I know that, but within the
So,
locker room, you think
Well, I'm glad at least in public they're not discussing.
I mean,
it.
it's been
So
on,
they're-
they're on Twitter with it, talking about it.
Eh,
So.
well, okay.
wait till the legendary speech. I'm sure Kelsey will have a lot to say.
Yeah. And it's. I mean, I think it's a two-sided coin, double-edged sword. It's motivational, but it can be a distraction also.
Okay.
And I hope it's not a distraction. I did hear, what was Fletcher Cox saying? He was saying something about his contract situation, I think that's what it was.
You got asked about that?
And
That's annoying.
and he was saying, I'm not trying to think about it because it's just be a distraction. We have a bigger task at hand. I hope that is the attitude inside and outside the locker room. I would think it would be. They got some veteran leadership on that team. I don't think Sirianni's going to be too was preoccupied with that sort of thing. He's got a lot of work to do. He can't be worried about not getting some individual award, and he said as much. So I like hearing that from these guys, but I hope it's not a distraction. I don't think it is. This is a unique opportunity with this team. They have such an opportunity to really, really make a name for themselves. We've said before, there are how many free agents on this team? I think 11.
Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah,
give or take, probably half of them aren't going to be back next year.
At least.
Well, look at the Super Bowl year after they all those guys. How many we lost?
Right. So, in life, when you get the opportunity, you have to take advantage of that because you never know when you're going to get this chance again. And if you need proof, ask Dan Marino, ask Jim Kelly. Dan Marino only got one shot, but it was his second year. And I remember after he lost that Super Bowl, it was his second year, and everybody thought they were going to be back
ask Matt
numerous
Ryan?
times.
Ask Matt Ryan.
Ask Matt Ryan. They thought Marino was going to be back numerous times.
King
never
of the
went back.
chokes.
Jim Kelly, 4 in a row. Should have won the first one.
Yeah.
Never got
for
close
sure.
after that one, even though they went
Are
back
they
3
cursed?
times.
Either cursed.
Nah,
I mean, how many times are they going to get that close and just choke?
it's not good.
I mean, it's still happening now.
One thing that we talked about, which I'm ready to say it now, and I don't care if people agree with me. Josh Allen's overrated.
Yeah.
Josh Allen's overrated. In big games, I get that he did it the one time against KC.
No, I'm not necessarily agreeing or
that,
disagreeing.
His accuracy
it's
is
a good
good.
argument for
He
it.
turns the ball over way too much.
Yeah. And he
I-
has help.
it's
It's
in-
not like he's throwing this.
And it's in
lawn
Buffalo.
chairs.
It's in Buffalo, and you got your ass kicked. It wasn't even close. Like I'm watching that game, I'm like,
If
dude, he's
if
getting
it's
embarrassed.
snowing in Buffalo,
right?
the Bills should win every single time.
Well, I mean, Cincinnati's used to that too, but
But snow in
yeah, I
Buffalo,
agree
it's
with you.
like
Yeah.
it's just a match made in heaven for football weather. Like Buffalo Bills are supposed to win when it snows in Buffalo. But yeah, I mean that's a good argument. I mean the argument's there to say he's overrated, but I'm not ready to say it just yet because he is still top 5 in the league in terms of quarterbacks. But that's Buffalo. We're in Philly, so they can have that problem.
Yeah, I really. It's so amazing that none of these players.
He's finicking with the mic, and I hear it in my ear.
Oh, none of these players were even put on the list. It's one thing to not win it and you're on the list. It's another thing to not even make it onto the list.
The only one that's a finalist is Hurts.
Yeah, and
For offensive player of the
it's
year
a
and
joke.
MVP.
every single one of them should be on the list.
It's a joke.
Yeah, it's really
It
pisses
when
me
you
off.
came in, I was saying it's ridiculous how the national media just can't accept that a Philadelphia sports team is this good. They did it with the Phillies. They did it with the Eagles.
Embiid got it tonight.
They did it with they're doing it with the Sixers right now. They're doing it with Embiid.
Right.
And they did it with the Eagles during their Super Bowl run. It's just absurd. It's ridiculous.
Aren't
Like
the Phillies, like, wasn't that kind of like, was it the Phillies weren't supposed to make the series?
no, they weren't supposed to. Dude, they weren't supposed to beat the Cardinals,
Right.
and
So-
they did.
Oh, so you're saying the disrespect the Phillies got was valid, which I'm not disagreeing
not
with you.
Valid, but
But
I mean,
understandable because
they're not-
they weren't
they-
favored.
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
think they. I don't
Yeah.
think they were
But the
expected.
Eagles-
to be
It's
where they
maybe
were.
Like,
maybe
here's
the
the one
Phillies,
thing I'll
Phillies are a
say.
bad example, but the rest of the
No,
team,
but I agree with. So here's the part where I'll agree and I'll disagree. In terms of individual awards, I think the Eagles have been disrespected. In terms of national attention this year and how good they are, I don't think they've been disrespected. I've heard a lot of people on other podcasts like whining about, oh, we haven't got the respect from the national media. I mean, okay, yeah, San Fran, but all year they've been talked about as one of the best teams in the league. So I'm not going to play that card this year that we don't get respect. I
Right.
will say individually awards, we don't get respected.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to continue to bang the drum down on Hurts being MVP, but the proof's in the pudding when the last 17 starts he has, he's 16-1. Going into before he got injured, they had one loss, which was a fluke loss that we can all agree to the Commanders. And you saw the difference of what the offense looks like without him. And it's like they're going to hold that against him. For a guy like Patrick Mahomes, who's all right, he's having a good year, but Patrick Mahomes also turns the ball over a lot too.
Yeah,
Double digits interceptions.
He I don't want to say he came down a notch. He might have come down a half a notch.
Right, but to win
He's still a great
MVP,
quarterback.
I agree with you.
He's still the best.
But if
in
you
the
say,
league.
if I think about most valuable player to their team,
It's got to be
it's
Hurts.
Jalen Hurts.
It's got to be Hurts.
missing the 2 games killed him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
That killed him.
If he doesn't miss the 2 games and this team goes, well, even they could still go. Let's say they could lose their last 2 because
It wouldn't have mattered.
Wrapped up.
They would have beat.
Does
Dallas,
Hurts get the
wouldn't have
MVP?
cared. Yes.
And ironically, that should have helped his case because they lost the 2 games.
Right,
that he
and you know what's
missed.
crazy is they're saying he's going to finish 3rd. Like Burrow's going to move ahead of him and Mahomes.
But it's a regular season award, right?
Yes.
So I don't understand Burrow finishing 2nd.
because he's got like 35. I don't know. He's got a lot of touchdowns,
But it wasn't until late in the season because they were immediate. They
Yeah.
were what 2nd or 3rd in their own division
They were
to start the
they were
league
like
to
4
start the
and 4 to
season.
start the
Yeah,
season.
they didn't come along till like Thanksgiving.
They like the
Around-
Eagles were the
around
most
December.
consistent
Around
team in the league.
Oh.
Most consistent team in the league.
Yeah.
Even like San Francisco
And-
started 3 and 4.
Bengals haven't lost since October.
That's fine.
Eagles,
telling you.
Eagles.
No, I
They
understand
haven't
that.
came around since like Halloween.
But that's because
Well,
they've had the win to make the playoffs. The Eagles secured their spot, in
I
November.
mean, but who have
It's-
the, yeah,
It's good, Andrew.
I mean, who the
it's-
Bengals beat other than KC?
Yeah, and as
Their
far as
division's good, though. It's not
respect
bad.
on a national level is concerned, all those weeks that the Eagles were spanking people, and they finally got the 1 loss. After that first loss, they dropped down in the national ranking. Not the national rankings, the pro football rankings. They dropped down to like 3 and 4.
I think that
Cowboys
was because
were ahead of
I
them.
know.
I
Well,
saw that.
well, we know
Yeah,
that.
that's
But what
ridiculous.
that is ridiculous. But what I'm saying is like, and I think that why they dropped in the power rankings is I think people
power
thought
rankings.
that Hurts was more hurt than he really
Yeah.
was. I mean, and if you
maybe.
think about it, for those 2 weeks, all right, the Dallas game, power rankings, I see why they moved down. Minshew sucked, but then they lost to the freaking Saints,
Yeah.
That hurt.
Yeah.
and that
them,
was like, and that's where I think that if you're an MVP writer, you look at the thing and you say, "Damn, if Hurts plays those 2 games, the Eagles win easily."
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the part I go back to.
Yeah.
16-1 in his last 17 starts.
Yeah.
16-1.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's
And if you think of MVP, everything, and I'm not trying to convince you because I already know how you guys are on board with them too. But to me, MVP, like what Mahomes did, all right, Mahomes has been doing. What Hurts did this year, Hurts hasn't been doing.
Yeah.
Accuracy wise,
Yeah.
downfield
Yeah.
throws,
Which
eliminating less turnovers.
it leads you to the Offensive Player of the Year award too.
Well, he better get that. He better
I
get
don't
one
think
of
he
them.
will. I think Jefferson.
No,
will.
Jefferson's going to get
Jefferson's
that.
gonna-
But see, here's the other thing with Jefferson. Jefferson against good teams gets shut down.
yeah,
so,
we shut him
we
down.
shut him down.
So does Jefferson stink? Because Fraudson's against good teams.
No.
that dude.
I
Stinks.
don't think he stinks,
Fine.
but I don't think that Jefferson is the most valuable player, offensive player. I
Well,
don't care that
He
he
certainly
has,
doesn't stink. I would take him on our team in a
for
heartbeat.
sure. I'm not saying that, but when you think he's got to get one of the awards, Hurts should get one.
It's going to be most
He
improved
should,
player,
but-
right?
No,
Offensive
most
player.
improved player. I don't even think
He's
Is
not
there
even
an
in
award
that.
for most
It's
improved?
That's-
Offensive player
That's NBA. I don't
Yeah.
think the
isn't
NFL
really a
has that.
quarterback award. I feel like
That's yeah. You're right.
But the
thing is,
three
he deserves
quarterbacks,
ones.
and it's
yeah, but that's
Jefferson.
not actually. I think it's gonna go to Jefferson.
MVP is a quarterback award. Offensive Player of the Year is
Listen,
a running back, wide receiver
Hurts
award.
probably could give 2 shits about
Yeah,
the
he
MVP.
wants
If
one
at the end of the
trophy.
day he gets that Super Bowl
Yeah.
MVP.
That's
That
all.
big
That's-
F you to all the voters. That's what
I
it
said.
means.
That's what I said. I think it was in our
yeah,
chat group
I
that
saw. Yeah,
he would
Chat
gladly give up.
he changes it.
he changed it.
Text
Whatever.
thread, chat group.
It's group chat.
Text thread. There,
Such
you
an
feel
old
better
man
now.
thing to do. Chat group.
Whatever it is, he
Or
would
instant
much
messenger.
rather go down Broad Street with the Lombardi Trophy and the MVP from the Super Bowl trophies underneath each arm.
I don't even
I
think
actually-
he cares if he gets MVP.
I would like to see him do that only because I don't think I've seen Hurts celebrate at all. Like you see him do touchdown dances, but like in the
Oh,
locker
dude, he'll be
room.
talking about wanting to do it again.
But I'm saying, like, how do you think he would be if they won the Super Bowl? He's just gonna be like a straight face, like,
no,
hey, like
no,
we
he'll
believe.
probably talk about
I hope he's
money,
talking some
money
shit.
off the- oh yeah,
I hope he does.
I mean, he might not talk a lot because that's not the type of guy. He's
No.
humble, but I think he'll.
But like, you think about it. When do you see him celebrate in a locker room? Like,
No,
you
he
know-
celebrates in the locker room.
You
and
think
they do
so?
the speeches, yeah. When you hear him, but like, I know what you're saying.
like I think it'd be fun
But
to
you know
watch
what
him.
I think it is? It's like that Alabama mentality because Devontae Smith's the same way. Job's not done yet.
Yeah,
Job's not done yet.
yeah.
It's really not.
That's
if you
all
think
I've been
about it.
saying.
Nobody's
No,
going
it's
to give a shit 10 years from now if you're like, oh, the Eagles were one of the final 4 teams. Like Devontae Smith said, the job is not done yet.
We stand corrected. Brody's grandfather said Brody already has the most improved award. this
Okay,
year.
well, I agree with that. I would give it to Brody over
We
Justin
should maybe.
Jefferson.
I know Jim's talked about it before, having podcast awards. Like maybe we should do one for our show. But like, I don't know what categories
Yeah,
we
what
could
the
have.
hell would it be?
I would win best hair.
I would
God.
win best hair.
Jim
You
would probably
nominate
get.
yourself.
Jim would
He
probably
would be
get
the Iron Man.
Iron
Always jumping
Man.
in. Yeah, all the starts.
Most improved would be a good one. That'd be a good one. The best What's Up award could go to Andrew.
Best yo.
Less
Yo,
like
best you.
Yeah.
Smitty or Moss.
But going back to the Eagles 49ers game.
yeah.
I think we're done with the individual. It's bullshit that the Eagles didn't
Let's
get
go into
recognized.
that game and let's
Let's get on to the game that's at hand this week, and that is the NFC Championship game.
Yep.
Biggest game this season. I think it'll be the toughest game of the season as well. I think that if the Eagles do what they do best, and that's what they did last week, is run it down their throats and pass when you need to pass. Hurts will make plays when he needs to make plays, and the defense shuts down the run game. The Eagles win the game. I won't say easily, but they win it comfortably, which is probably the same thing, but
Yeah,
whatever.
Nah,
That's-
easily is different from comfortably.
Easily is 38-7. I think comfortably is like 30-20.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm thinking this game's going to be like. And I don't know what you guys, I think you guys kind of think the same way as I do. I think the Eagles are the better team, but this Niners team they're no Giants team. And it's definitely going to be the toughest game they've probably had all year. But
Yeah, it's definitely their best opponent they've had all year. But I don't want to. Maybe I do want to say it. Are the Niners slightly overrated? When you look at their schedule,
ask Nate, he'll tell you he thinks they are.
when you look at their schedule and who they've, I mean, they played Seattle twice. They played the Arizona Cardinals twice. They played the
LA Rams.
LA Rams twice. They played the Raiders.
They haven't
played
had.
Miami.
We said it earlier. They haven't had a hard played a solid team since October.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Who was?
I would say the Chargers.
Chargers aren't that solid.
Yeah, but that was their
they were a playoff
toughest
team.
opponent.
The Chargers was they were banged up. I'm saying
That was their toughest
Yeah, I know,
opponent
that
that
was-
they played since October. I would say
Yeah,
with Purdy at quarterback too.
okay. I think the Eagles do win. I don't think it's comfortably. I think it's going to be a one-score game, be it a touchdown or a field goal.
Actually, it might be the Bucs.
Are we already in predictions?
No,
No,
I'm
we're
not
just- we're
saying my
just-
score.
We're just getting a little breakdown a little
Yeah,
bit.
I think that the Eagles, number one, they got to take care of the ball because their
Yup.
losses,
Yeah,
when they lost, they turned the ball over numerous times, and they gave up short fields also when they did. So number one, they got to take care of the ball. Number two, I think they need to run the ball to keep that defense honest
And also,
and open up the field for the passing game. I think our offensive line can handle their defensive line. And I think our receivers will do damage when we do pass the ball. But I think Sanders, maybe I don't know if you're going to run as much as you did last week. I doubt they do. But when they do run, and I think hopefully they run early and get out to a decent lead early. That blueprint they set up last week, they got to do the same exact thing this week. Get out to a fast start, and make Brock Purdy a one-dimensional guy, just like we made Daniel Jones a one-dimensional quarterback. And I think the defense can take care of business on their end. Go ahead, Andrew.
I also think that the Eagles have a better matchup offensively because if you look at the Niners defense, they're only good at rushing defense and getting to the quarterback. Their secondary is horrible at long passes, which we have speed for that. And I just think Hurts is just too much for them to contain in the pocket and all.
I think the dual option with Hurts is going
We
to
talked
be
a little earlier about
a
that.
killer
Yeah.
for these guys.
The Niners secondary is not that good.
Yeah, we
it's
talked
not.
about that.
Yeah.
The deep ball kills them every week.
I mean,
The only they suck at locking down the wide receiver one too. CeeDee Lamb basically
Well,
kept
The
Raiders.
Raiders put up 30-something
well,
points
here's the
on
thing
them.
we
Yeah.
talked
The
about.
Lamb
Where
also
is your
kept-
weakness on the Eagles?
There isn't.
Exactly.
There isn't.
If Avonte Maddox comes back too, which I
Yeah.
mean, I know I'm more of a difference maker.
Niners haven't played this type of offense either. And Nate told us
and they
before
haven't played
this.
in this
Have you
environment.
seen-
Brock
Right.
Purdy hasn't played in this
No.
environment.
Have
That's
you
the
seen-
biggest thing.
Yes.
Have you seen what the Niners let up the CeeDee Lamb had? 10 receptions for like
Yeah.
117 yards.
Yeah, their secondary is not that
Yeah.
good.
And AJ Brown's way better than CeeDee Lamb. Imagine what he's
And
gonna
Nate
have.
said earlier the Niners' losses this year have been against mobile quarterbacks.
Yeah,
They can't
Mm.
handle mobile quarterbacks.
Nick Bosa is not. I mean, he's
That's good to
athletic,
know.
but
Well,
I
no,
don't think
he.
he's able to
So they had a
chase
stat.
Hurts down from.
They had a stat. I think he was out of like 190 defensive ends. He was like 185th against RPOs. Like,
Really, Bosa, because he's so
Bosa is-
aggressive.
Yeah, like
He-
he's-
He
He's
pursues,
terrible
he
against
pursues the
RPOs.
quarterback way too much and running
That's
backs.
like Fraudson's. He's so
he
aggressive.
just
you
he's
just
like,
use it against them.
he's just a he does tunnel.
I
I
mean,
mean, doesn't see the outside. He's rushes
The
the
Eagles,
quarterback.
the Eagles made Fraudson's look horrible the 2 times they played him. I don't see why they can't make Bosa look not horrible, but I don't see why they
Like
can't
Michael
shut down
Parsons.
Bosa.
Like he did Michael
Like
Parsons.
Fraudson's, yes. Like I don't see why they can't do that to Bosa either. And you know their linebackers are better than they've really seen all year.
Yeah, Fred Warner's a beast.
But if Hurts can throw the ball downfield, and you
Which
know
he can.
AJ Brown and Devontae Smith should have a decent day,
It's
and
so
then you have
great.
Goddard.
It's-
Smitty,
that's
Smitty
what
should
I
have
want.
100 yards.
It's so great to hear the transformation from the beginning of the year
Yeah.
to how you feel about Jalen Hurts now.
I
It
admit
warms
my
my
thoughts.
heart, Andrew. Warms my heart. But honestly,
you,
like
you can't
where
double anybody on the Eagles.
well, that's the thing that I'm saying.
Everybody's
Like
got to be. single
everybody's like,
coverage.
all right, we're gonna focus on Brown. All right, focus on Brown. Smith will beat you. Oh, you want to focus on Smith and
Yeah.
Brown? Goddard will beat you.
And if you play zone, they just find the.
You want to
soft spot
focus
the
in on
zone.
Sanders? All right, then Hurts is gonna hold the ball.
Yeah, so I'm
Yes.
pretty sure this year the Niners defense have allowed I think it was over a 98 rating to tight ends. So I think
Oh,
Goddard.
wow.
Yeah, they stink against tight ends too.
So then
You see
Goddard
Schultz
down,
got a touchdown last
and
week.
that's what Fred Warner there.
Yeah.
They're like hard. Like I think Brody said like.
Yeah.
they're
I think
hard,
if
They're
we
not
get
good
up on them,
against
it's
tight
good
ends.
night.
Yeah.
If we get up on
Yeah,
them, it's
we-
good night. If we
we-
let
if
them
you
hang
make-
around,
If you make Purdy get off his game and make him have to come back.
no,
from
I
a
think
deficit,
Purdy's going to be running for his life.
I think we shut down CMC, and that's
Yeah,
game.
if you make
That's
Purdy
the key
throw
to
the
the game.
ball,
Shutting him down
Purdy-
and make Purdy beat you.
Purdy
Yeah.
can't beat you throwing the
And,
ball. I mean,
I
he just saw it last week against the Cowboys.
I also just saw that
You can't do it.
I saw someone tweet out something on Twitter that remember the last time someone was ranked #1 defense in the league in NFC Championship and came to the link.
Yeah, the Vikings.
Yeah, that's a good call. And
Well,
look
it's,
at
it's pretty funny because the Eagles are the #1 offense in yards and points per game, and the Niners are the #1 defense in yards and points
Yep.
per game.
Yeah.
I mean, but if you
So-
look at like, and I remember like when we started those injuries, you were like, oh, Henry, they're all going to run through us. But like,
Yeah.
if Henry can't run on us, McCaffrey ain't running on us.
Saquon
And
did.
McCaffrey's not
think-
100%.
I think McCaffrey's more athletic than Henry and more.
He is, but he's
Yeah, I
also
think he-
hurt.
I think he's better than Henry. By
McCaffrey.
McCaffrey's better than
hasn't-
Henry.
McCaffrey
Come
has
on. Henry King,
Derrick Henry's the best
get
running
the
back.
hell
in the
out of
league.
here, bro.
now,
Nah, dude.
I'll
Derrick
take
Henry.
Pollard right now over McCaffrey.
now
CMC didn't practice all week. Debo Samuel didn't practice all
Yeah.
week. They're
Eli.
dealing with injuries on their team as well, like we are.
And then
Eli
they're dealing with
and
arrests too because they have scumbags over there that can't
Yeah.
keep their hands off women. But according to Shanahan, he's going to play this week. We're going to let
Yeah,
him play
because
out.
He's
The defensive end.
He's got the long-
Got arrested
got
for
arrested
domestic
He's got a
abuse.
long. He's got a
domestic
long name.
violence.
I think he's a starter for them now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Charles.
It
Oh,
shows
that
you. It
dude.
shows you
Manu-
what their
Mon-
priorities
yeah,
are.
yeah. I said this
just
last
a
night to,
massage.
and I don't know if you guys agree, and I'm not trying to be a homer, but I said this to my mom because when talking about an incident like this, and she thinks that there's no way that Roseman would let them play, and I agree. I don't think Roseman would let a player play if they got arrested the week before with domestic abuse. I don't see it.
yeah.
I don't know. I can't.
But I mean,
would hope
dude,
he
you know what
wouldn't.
I go back to?
I would hope he
Remember
wouldn't.
the guy they traded for? I mean, this was a couple years ago. The dude that came back home from Philly, Darryl Worley. Remember they got him and he got caught, like he resisted arrest from the cops. Dude, he was gone the next day.
Yeah, but if it's
caught with,
somebody
a-
like AJ Brown or Devontae
who was
Smith,
the one?
I
dude-
still don't think they play.
Yeah.
You do? I
Who was
don't
the-
see it.
Who was the one dude caught with a gun in his car? a week before training
Josh
camp.
Huff.
That
That was
No,
during the
no,
game
that was
he
recent.
was. No, but
No,
That was recent.
that
I know
there
you're
was like
talking.
some dude caught with a gun.
that
in
was
his car.
Josh Huff, and and then they cut him.
It was
Yeah.
the dude they drafted.
Yeah.
Was it Roby? No, not drafted, but
He was found. Yeah,
it was. Oh my god!
It was literally right before the season
There
started.
was a
and he got
corner
caught
or
with
a
gun in his
defensive
car.
back. Was it the dude? Was it Will Parks? Maybe.
It might have been him. He
I don't think it was
caught with
Parks.
either.
No, because he
No, it
played
wasn't
with us.
Parks.
He was
But
either,
I remember who you're talking
it
about.
was either
And
drunk.
did they cut him?
They
Yeah.
got rid of him not
Yeah.
long.
But I mean,
But I'm saying, like, you got to remember, this guy is he's not a bum.
Yeah,
Like he's a good player for
that
them.
doesn't.
Of course,
yeah,
he's gonna
but isn't there morals?
you think if, like I said, you think if somebody like Lane Johnson or or
I don't know, man.
AJ
I'll be
Brown
honest
did
with you.
that?
The Eagles don't play around with that kind of stuff, so
Yeah.
I don't think
Mm-mm.
they
I don't
play.
think they would be that dumb to.
I don't
either.
think they play.
it sounds horrible of me, but like I think they would play.
I
Because-
don't.
because
Not this organization. They've always
money-
taken. Do you
money
agree?
talks,
No,
dude.
I agree.
They
I
got
think-
women.
Yeah.
Women running this organization.
I don't think
yeah,
Jeff would
No
stand for
way.
that.
I don't either.
I think the Eagles have more pride than letting a criminal.
Now, if Hurts does it, let him play.
Alright,
I'm just
See,
kidding.
yeah,
I'm
see,
kidding. I know.
That's what I mean.
I'm
Like,
just fraudster.
if
I
it's
was being
certain-
a fraudster right
Yeah,
there.
No, you ain't kidding.
Yeah, like
because I
if-
wouldn't be kidding either. Let him play. Let him play.
Hurts.
like
Did it hurt
it's-
that bad? Let him play.
Yeah, let him play.
It depends on who the player is. Like this guy is a decent player for them. They kind of need him. I can see why they're letting him play. It's,
But I
it's
think
not right.
Shanahan should have just kept his mouth shut.
It's not
Yeah.
right.
Like, don't try to defend why
Right.
you
You know,
let
also,
him
what
play.
helps the Eagles too, along with this, is Shanahan's clock management is horrible.
Yes, I agree with that.
I thought you meant like that helped. Like you were talking about the situation we were
No.
talking about, and then you go like,
Well, you know what? I think
like,
it helps
what?
the Eagles. I think it's a distraction.
zone.
It's a distraction to the team. You
For the
can't tell me it's not a
Niners,
distraction.
Man, the Eagles are going to win by like 40.
Nate was
Stop.
Nate was hyping it
Stop
up.
it.
Yeah, I'm just.
Nate's
I'm
gonna
just-
come on
yo,
next week
man.
and be like, "You, I told you, Smitty.
Yeah.
You."
It's Minnesota Viking vibes all day.
I don't
man.
know if I can give that. That's tough.
We want to get into predictions. We're running a little.
Yeah,
a little
yeah,
time
yeah.
here.
Andrew
let's
and I
do it.
got to get going.
All right, let's get
You
into
guys
it.
got to go. What,
Yeah.
what time's his
He's got
game?
practice at 9.
All right,
Well,
let's get. All right, so we all agree that we think all across the board, every position, Eagles are better, right?
Yeah.
that doesn't mean
Maybe
that
maybe
doesn't
not
mean
running
my
back.
prediction's
Maybe not
going
running
that
back.
way.
I
Maybe
think
not
I think
running back.
Pat Sweeney has a good score up here.
Maybe not running back, but
35-9.
And then
Wow.
Yeah,
He said, he
Book
said that earlier.
Field goals, book it.
Book
Dude,
it.
they're gonna score a touchdown. They have to.
the Niners, that is a touch. They could get a touchdown.
No,
on a
he
safety.
said 3 field goals.
Oh, I didn't
Come
see
on,
that part.
DJ.
I mean,
and
I'm
you asked
saying-
me if I can read.
I'm saying they
in
could
our
get a touch.
text thread.
They could say a touchdown and a safety. You know.
In our text thread, you
Whatever.
asked me if I can read.
All right, let Andrew and I go.
All right, go
Andrew.
ahead.
Our
ahead.
prediction,
Yeah,
Andrew. No,
Give us a
no.
prediction.
You're the
We're gonna go left to right.
you're
All right,
the one
I'm gonna go
inconvenienced in our show by having the lead.
38-17 Eagles.
All right.
I want to go 30-26 Eagles. It's going to be close game.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be something like that. I'm thinking. I'm gonna go because it's tough to score on the Niners. So I'm thinking 30.
It ain't tough to score in the
Yes, it
Niners.
is.
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's tough to move the ball. It's tough to get in the end zone. He's
I'm
right.
thinking 30-23.
I have it 30,
Eagles.
31-21 Eagles.
Brody.
Brody.
33-27 Eagles.
Okay.
You think the Niners scored 27 on our defense?
It's gonna be a close game, dude.
Brock Purdy.
Nate.
type
Nate,
position.
yeah, Nate.
Nate's going like 52-7.
I'm taking it back, man. 38-7, just like the Vikings game.
Run it back.
My
Run
God.
it
Just like
back.
the Giants too, Nate. 30. Wasn't that 38-7? Was that
Yeah,
the
just-
final?
Just
Yeah.
like that game. Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Like the more I think about it, I'm not sure how they're going to score.
See you, fellas.
Don't forget Santa.
I won't.
Well, we're leaving, so you can get Santa too. We're wrapping up
Yeah,
right
we're getting
now.
out of here soon. It's a
Take
school
Santa
night.
with you.
Brody's got a big vocabulary test tomorrow.
Do you want to practice live on the show? Let's see how many you can get right. Where's the paper at? Don't you think we should do a little
I
bit?
think you guys need to say gogoodbye.
No,
Like
you
you're
need to
just
do it.
See everybody.
Where's the paper
Go
at?
Birds.
Gotta do
There
it
you
now.
No, we want to do a couple questions. Don't you think we should see if he's ready?
So Nate, did you give your prediction? Are you thinking
I said 31.
38-7?
I said 31-21.
38-7 from Nate.
What'd you say? 33-27, right?
Nate, does Mrs. Moss have a
Oh, I meant-
prediction?
I'm at 35.
They're in here hitting on my wife, man. What's going on with your dad?
I
bro?
said Oh, they. I don't
we can't
know.
answer for him.
But I'm asking, does Mrs. Moss have a prediction?
Does Mrs. Moss have a prediction? I don't know. Mrs. Moss, do you have a prediction for the game?
Pain.
It's not a gamble. It's just telling us what the score is. She said 33-22.
There you go.
Birds
Eagles?
or
Birds.
49ers?
Of course,
All right,
birds.
cool.
What?
Well, you don't know. I don't know.
We would get divorced if she wasn't an Eagles fan. You
Oh,
kidding me?
jeez.
That's a little harsh.
She's
No,
pro-
it's not.
she's
It's tr-
probably-
you know how many people actually have gotten divorced probably? because
Yeah,
of
yeah. You're right about that.
You know what I mean?
I'll give you that.
Like,
yeah.
yeah.
Good call. I'll
Like-
give you that one.
She's
Good
probably
call, buddy.
right.
But-
Is that all it takes not to be an Eagles fan?
Yeah,
No,
hey man,
nah.
it breaks households.
It does, dude. It
It
does.
breaks households.
Yeah, I could never date like a Cowboys or
My buddy's dating a
fan.
Giants fan right now, and she was at the game with us last week.
Was she cool?
She was cool though. She was like, yeah.
Is
it
she
was-
wearing Giants gear?
No, she did not. She was neutral.
She was smart.
Oh, that's
Yup.
smart.
Yeah, we gave her shit though.
She
Of
was-
course.
She was like, yeah, we suck.
She-
It's
She was smart.
yeah, but all right.
No, I really do. I think they're gonna because I keep looking at it. If you can keep Bosa under wraps,
Yeah,
like
And Johnson hasn't given up a sack.
but not
so-
even that. Like if you look at our defensive line before we get out of here, you look at our defensive line, it's kind of even, right?
mhm.
It's like 16 and then like 11 and a half, 10, 11, 8. Like there's just a wave of them. After Bosa, the next closest guy is 5 sacks. He's got 18.
I've
He's
been
got
seeing that.
18.
I've been seeing that.
The
yeah.
next closest guy has 5.
Yep. Yeah.
And the guy you guys are talking about, he's got 4. So he's up in the totem pole after Bosa.
Yeah. And think about it, all those guys would probably, aside from Bosa, they'd be backups here.
Yo, man,
It's crazy.
I'm
Crazy
telling you
the
right
depth on
now
this team.
that what we talked about earlier, you said minus 30 might be a play.
Yeah, my buddy did minus 30.5 last week. It hit.
Might be a play.
And it's the same odds, which tells you Vegas might think the same thing again.
Is it still 2.5 or have we gained
No,
another?
it's two. It's
They're
still
2.5.
Hoping we can get it.
It's
like,
with the. I think.
I think by
you think we
kickoff
can
it'll
get
go
it
back
to
down.
3 to 3?
it might get to 3 by kickoff.
You think it'll go up, not down?
Yeah, I think.
Right
I-
now it's 2.
wow.
Oh, KC's back -1. They
Yeah,
were,
KC flip. KC's minus
that's
1.
because everybody thinks Mahomes,
Mahomes
might
is-
be
he
healthy.
isn't
That's
hurt.
because Mahomes is going to play.
He's healthy though.
Yeah, yeah.
He
So
has,
do you-
he has no boot and no limp. So
Do you think 2.5? Do you think it gets to 3, 3.5, 4?
What?
Eagles?
Eagles? No.
4 is a
4
lot.
is a lot.
It's
Yeah, 4 is-
Thursday. That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of money coming on the Birds. for
Well,
that to
I
happen.
haven't,
That's Eagle-
I
that's
haven't
an
dropped
Eagles-
I haven't dropped my money like
That's a-
Match or Smack.
Yeah, that dude's a moron.
Yeah.
That's an Eagles
If he
line
drops
now.
on the Eagles, we're screwed.
Nah, he only does Texas team.
All right. Well, you could drop on the Niners.
Yeah.
So I got before you guys cut out,
Yeah.
I got a bet here for you.
Okay.
That I want you to guys give me an idea about what you like here.
All right.
I heard this on the radio coming in. This is a Bet Parks. So if you guys bet, check out Bet Parks app.
Okay.
So here it is. They're having special props for the most passing, receiving yards, and rushing yards throughout the playoffs, which I think is an interesting bet because you're live if you get the guy that goes to the Super Bowl. And I'll just do Eagles. Right now, the Eagles for the most passing yards in the playoffs, Jalen Hurts is 20-1.
20-1?
20-1.
That sounds like
Burrow is minus 118. Brock Purdy is plus 140, which is insane.
So what's Hurts then?
And so that means you
He's-
bet $100, you win $2,000.
yeah, that's
How is Purdy higher than him?
Yeah, I don't know.
the disrespect continues.
Well, it's because of last game, right?
Yeah, they
But
don't.
Because,
what
because
are-
they didn't really throw the ball as much.
What are the updated?
He still had
what
3
are
total
the,
touchdowns.
What are the updated Super Bowl
But this is most
winner?
passing yards in the playoffs.
What are they?
Oh.
What are the updated Super Bowl winner odds? It's still plus 240, plus
Yeah,
250.
yeah,
or,
they haven't changed. They haven't changed.
So the Eagles aren't that
They are
high,
the
much
favorite,
higher
yeah.
than San Fran.
Yep.
So what's San Fran plus 280 still?
Well, hold on, I'll get there. I just want to ask you about these ones. Most receiving yards.
I go Smith.
AJ Brown is plus 2,000, and so is Devontae.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. Because Smith's been on a
So
tear.
who's the favorite?
Jamar.
Jamar Chase.
Chase plus 125.
Yeah.
Then Kelsey. Then Debo.
I was going to say, I would think Kelsey might be a good bet.
See, that's what I'm saying. Those bets make it seem like they think
So
the Niners are
now
going.
here's the most interesting one. Then I think I'm going to run them all down, and you tell me. Most rushing yards.
Oh.
McCaffrey's plus 140. That's a no, obviously. Mixon is interesting at plus 175. Miles Sanders plus 450.
Ooh,
I mean, if Miles Sanders has a huge game,
that's great value too.
And then Pacheco is plus 850.
Nah,
And then Gainwell is plus 2,000.
Gainwell.
That's because he had the 100-yard game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
He's the only one who had a
Dude,
100-yard
I-
game.
but
I think,
if
in
I
the
look at
playoffs.
those bet parts things, that tells me they don't think the Eagles are going to the Super Bowl.
Miles Sanders being plus 460 is good value.
Doesn't that
Because-
tell you that, Nate? If you look at that,
Not really, because Hurts is
it's going to spread it around.
he can run.
Yeah,
No,
that too.
Like Hurts could end up having like 80 or 90 yards.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So I don't think that that really means much. I mean, the fact that they're odds-on favorite to win the Super Bowl, all the matchups are favored for the Eagles,
Yep.
and the Niners matchups are like almost 10-1, all of them, almost like 7 or 10-1. It's all birds, really. It's birds across the whole thing. Like Hurts is the leader in MVP odds.
Still?
Well, him and Burrow are tied.
Wow.
And then the predictions are the Chiefs beat the Eagles at plus 525. The Chiefs beat the Niners is plus 7. The Eagles beat Cincinnati is plus 5. Like everybody else without the Eagles is a higher bet. So to me, when you look across the board, the bet is the Eagles are going to be in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Whether they win or not is a different story, but they're going to be in the Super Bowl.
Well,
Right now, Eagles plus 240, Bengals plus 260, Chiefs plus 260, Niners plus 350.
I'm a little surprised that the Chiefs aren't getting more love because
he's hurt.
Yeah, I guess, but I mean, you think
If this was a regular season, he wouldn't be playing this week.
you think it's that bad?
Did you see it? It was a cheap shot.
No, yeah, I'm saying, but the injury. I mean, Mahomes, like they showed him in practice and the interview, like he had no limp, he wasn't wearing a boot, so I don't know if he's just like shot out with medicine, but
It's different game time, brother.
yeah, I guess.
But he'll be juiced up for the game.
Mm-hmm.
But they still he hasn't beaten Burrow yet.
Yeah, Burrow's won against him every time.
Yeah, he's 0-4 against Burrow. So
What do you think? You think Bengals?
I did think Bengals, but if Mahomes is healthy, I figure the NFL finds a way for Mahomes to win. I gotta be honest with
Andy
you.
Rebo,
It's rigged. The NFL wants
I felt
Eagles
like
rigged.
I felt like it was kind of rigged last week.
it's a better story.
It absolutely is a better story. Reed versus the Eagles,
Yeah.
which is why I think it'll be Bengals Eagles. I just think he's just playing lights out right now, and the Bengals are just a hot team.
Yeah, they are. And he's got their number. This reminds me of, not comparing them, but this reminds me of like Brady and Manning. Like Manning,
Yeah, this is
he
gonna
just couldn't.
be-
He just couldn't beat Brady.
This is gonna be the new Brady Manning, I
he
think,
just
in the
couldn't beat
AFC.
Brady.
Yeah.
So
All right.
just wanted to give that out though.
One last thing before we go. We're working on some fun guests,
Yes.
possibly next week and shows moving forward. Cooking up some stuff there, and catch you guys next week. Hopefully, talking about a NFC Championship victory and a trip to Arizona for Super Bowl 57.
All right, I'm in. Go Birds.
Go Birds!
All right. Be excellent to each other.
Yes.
Eagles fly.